Welcome back to The Real Deal. It's always good to have your company. You haven't seen me for a couple of weeks. I have been working frantically behind the scenes with lots of exciting things coming about. I'm in the process of actually starting a new office in a new area, doing a shop fitting on my new building, which leads me to talk about today's topic, the ridiculous cost of construction currently in Australia, and of course what happened during Australia's new home building boom. Well, that happened, of course, in 2020 during COVID, when the federal government decided to stimulate the building industry by handing out grants of between $15,000 and $25,000. All very well and good. And of course, this boom will continue into 2022 with about 191,000 new dwellings being built, and about 121,000 of these are actually houses, standalone houses. Of course, there is a demand for standalone houses. Now, they're saying that there is a little bit of a bitter end to the boom looming for the two big capital cities, Melbourne and Sydney. And they're saying that with the migration of people moving north, and of course with pretty much an oversupply of units in those cities, they will possibly be in a far worse position than before the pandemic. So that is actually going to hit Melbourne and Sydney, they're saying, around 2023. Didn't see any negative predictions of Brisbane, by the way, which is very exciting. Now, the home builder scheme run by the federal government ended in March this year. And in addition to the end of the federal stimulus, part of the reason for a slowing of reduction in builds for 2022 is because the industry is running into shortages after working at capacity for more than a year. There's a real shortage of material and obviously trades as well. Now, there has been some significant costs with regards to building materials and also labour. Listen to these figures. The ABS figures show the cost of home building materials around Australia rose by 8%. I would hazard a guess it's possibly a lot more than that, because you've got the COVID tax on top of the 8%, don't forget. People can get away with it because of COVID. They will. You know, it's always COVID. You know, the long queues in the call centre, it's COVID. The lack of whatever it is, service in a restaurant or what, is always because of COVID. Everything's because of COVID. It's a wonderful excuse. So, of course, now home building materials have gone up because of COVID, but that is a genuine thing, because I know there's been shortages and problems getting some of the materials into the country as well, and delays in shipping. Who remembers the Suez Canal hazard? And of course, the big thing, because of COVID, tradesmen have been allowed to put up their rates and their costs by about 5.2%, doing the same work, but because of COVID, and because there's a shortage of them and there's no international cheaper labour from overseas coming in, guess what? 5.2% increase, because we're Aussies and because we can do it. So that is definitely going to have an impact on you if you're looking at building a house. They're saying delays of up to 2 years. We are not hearing that I'm looking for an old knockdown and I'm going to build my own, because no one in their right mind would build their own house in this current climate, with these crazy high prices, lack of building material, and crazy high prices when it comes to builders as well. Interesting story here. My husband bumped into somebody from Metricon who mentioned that they have actually been giving back money to people that have signed a contract with them so that they wouldn't have to go ahead and build their house, because they knew that they were going to do it at a loss. So where does that leave you? It leaves you in a situation where you need to buy established, ready to move into. It has to be good enough to live in now, because you might wait a little bit of time for a decent reno, but at least you can plan your reno, and it's far better off buying second hand currently, because at least you'll get to live there straight away, rather than, you know, living out of a caravan or living out of a rental for a few years. So that's my update. I've got some great houses to show you, and I can't wait to see you at my open homes very soon, in fact this weekend.